2020's two geeks from across social media formed an alliance to bring you geek news from across the Nostalgiaverse. They are Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell. So strap yourselves in for the weekly live show that brings you toy news, TV and movie reviews, special guests, opinions, tangents, and bad impressions. Reveals, releases, thoughts, and maybe dreams. So prepare yourselves for the Geek Week in Review. Live.
Hello! Hey! Hello and welcome back to the Geek Week episode 161 with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. Hello everybody in the chat. We will get to your comments very soon. If you are new to watching the show, then do join in with the chat, join in with the comments. We go out across a number of different platforms, so we do our best to kind of streamline the comments and kind of keep everyone involved in the conversation. If you're watching us on repeat, like we know a lot of you do, Mr. Sorrell, what do they need to put in the chat?
Hashtag catch up crew.
Hashtag catch up crew. There's a little bit of a lag tonight.
There is.
You notice
slight
that?
lag.
Yeah, it will catch up in a minute. All in all, hang on, let me do this and let me see if it adjusts it. There we go. That might do it. Couple of shout outs very quickly. Shelley's in the chat. Andy Roberts in the chat. Ezra Gantos, Toddwell, Sean Ship, Loon, Timmy changed it slightly. Hashtags. Hello, SuperSorrell. Hello, Jacob's Toys. How are you doing today? We're both doing very well. Thank you very much. Frostbite is in the chat as well with a hashtag catch up crew. So whether you're watching it slightly delayed, I don't know. Reset your browser and you can join in with us as you go. So, 161, we are going to talk about Cobra Kai Season 1, Part 1. That is our main topic of conversation today. So if you haven't caught up with it, then obviously there will be spoilers ahead a little bit later in the show. However, it's been a bit of a busy week, hasn't it, Mr. Sorrell?
It's been a mental week. Absolutely.
It has been. There's been lots going on. So we're going to talk about a few different things that has been popping up across the internet and across the kind of pop culture. Before we get into it, though, I've got to show you my little beverage of choice.
Yeah, the Stranger Things can. I haven't found any yet. They're in
Have you
B&M,
not?
though, right?
What?
They're in B&M.
Yeah, mate, 69p. And I'll tell you what, it is still full because it tastes like a 69p drink. It is disgusting. It says a taste of the upside down, and it really does. It tastes like what you would expect the upside down to look like. It's Star-Court Strawberry and Lychee Rift. But the can's cool. The can's very cool. The can is very cool indeed. So I thought I had to get one just for the can, but it's it's not good. It's not good. Not good at all. But yeah, 69p and B&M. So
I'll tell you one thing that I want to talk about tonight as well before we get ready. Well, we didn't talk about this before either. This is just off the top of my head. I just wanted to talk about it.
Go on.
This week, earlier last week, I got the message from Hasbro saying, would I like to open up the Acolyte box on Scream? You know, it's coming to the end of its TV series, and they want to put the boxes out for the merch. So it's a press box. Obviously, you know, being YouTubers, we get the opportunity to do these things. I was like, yeah, cool, send it. So I sent it across. I opened it up. I did a video. I put that video on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, as I always do. And I tell you what, I have not missed being a part of that Star Wars community. The comments have just been the most toxic thing on the planet this week.
Wow.
I have been told to unalive myself at least 4 times.
Wow.
I've been referred to as Jabba the Hutt at least 6 times.
Original?
Mate, it's just insane. The comments are mental.
Oh, mate, all because you got a nice press box.
Oh, because I got a lovely press box. And the thing is, half the comments weren't even aimed at me. They were just aimed at... They were like having a go at me to get to Hasbro. And I'm like, you don't have to go at me. I'm not Hasbro. No. I don't make the toys. I just play with them. But the amount of comments on there was nuts.
It sucks, man. It just sucks that, you know, like, you know what? If you don't like the show, if you don't like the merch, if you don't like somebody looking at the merchandise or talking about the show, just move on.
Don't
like,
watch.
It's like, I don't get it. I really don't get it.
to find that video, they must have, because I called it the Acolyte press box. So I mean, they are searching for the Acolyte to hate on the Acolyte. That makes no sense to me. I don't go on YouTube and look for videos I hate.
You know what? While we're
Crazy.
talking about the Acolyte, because we have got a difference of opinion on the show. Like, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's not up there with my kind of favorite Star Wars out there, but it was on and I watched it and I kind of pushed through and got to it. And there were some really cool bits in it that I thought, oh, that's cool. Like, oh, that's cool. But there were also some really rubbish things. But there was no denying some of the lightsaber fights were fantastic. Like, that's, take out Star Wars and take out kind of where it is and all the rest of it. Some of the choreography that went into those lightsaber fights was fantastic. And that in itself is just something to be appreciated. But there are also bits that I thought were really cool, but they're massively contradicted the franchise. So like the bit where Osha, spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen it, and she kind of goes to the dark side and she ignites the lightsaber and it kind of goes from blue and it turns red. And visually it was very cool. And at the time I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I thought, hang on, like, what about Anakin? Like, we saw that Anakin, like, literally, like, go in and get the younglings with a blue lightsaber. Like, his lightsaber didn't change color, and I just thought you can't do these really cool things that then kind of contradict the franchise, and so I get some of the hate.
Yeah, the idea of the bleeding kyber crystals came after the prequels. That was kind of something that got added in. So obviously, I think in years to come, when they redo, because they will redo them again. I think we'll see that in Revenge of the Sith, that his lightsaber might change color. But it was mentioned heavily in the video games. In the I forgot his name. In the recent Jedi Falls video games, it was mentioned a lot in there.
Cal Kestis and stuff.
Yeah, the Cal Kestis games. It was mentioned quite heavily in there that the lightsabers would bleed and eventually change colour to the red lightsaber. And not a lot of fans like that theory. A lot of fans just like the idea that they go to Malachor and they get a red crystal, which is the crystal of power. Yeah. There's two people. Some people prefer the legends, and then some people prefer the new canon, if you call it that.
But the reason I bring it up is because I think that's why that community has some really toxic opinions, because there are very contradicting histories and theories and stories and stuff like that. And I just think it's all very cool, like, individually, but because they're kind of rewriting stuff and adding stuff which then contradicts other stuff that you might have read or might have fallen in love with, I think that's where a lot of the really passionate kind of toxic like bleeds into it. It's just a shame. Do you know what I mean? Like, just enjoy it or don't enjoy it, like, one way or the other. Don't go on and just hate about somebody opening up a press box. Like, come on, that is not going to get the show cancelled. It's not going to happen. Man, that's bad.
There was some really good points this week, though. I mean, we had the new Deadpool trailer drop, which was insane.
Yes. I am so hyped. So I'm watching it Wednesday night.
If they've dropped, because they dropped a couple of things in there, we kind of knew Lady Deadpool was a thing. We kind of already guessed that and knew that.
Yeah.
We weren't 100% sure, but we kind of knew. And then, but obviously that last shot where we get to see, Daphne Keen's return, X-23.
Yeah.
That's quite cool. But
that's a big one as well.
That is a big one. And like, what I was thinking last night was, if these are things they're showing us in the trailer, what's in that movie because that can't be the only cameos that we're going to get. They must have a lot up their sleeve that we've not seen just yet and they've not announced.
That was my thinking exactly, was that Lady Deadpool and X-23 and Sabretooth, to an extent, could have been really big reveals, like, in the cinema. Like, if you'd seen that in the cinema, you would have, like, gone, oh my gosh, like, that's incredible. So the fact that they've given them as the teasers, the kind of the media circus on the way up to it, there's a lot that is going to be, Kevin Feige said something recently. I don't know if you saw this, but he said if Infinity was on a scale of 1 to 10 on changing the MCU, if Infinity War is a 9 and Endgame is a 10, Deadpool and Wolverine's an 8.
Wow.
And that came from Kevin Feige himself. So it's going to be up there with kind of, it's not just going to be a kind of bit of a fun, bit and bob. Spoilers ahead for anyone that has avoided the trailer. We're going to flash a couple of images. So here it is.
But these are in the trailer. This is not us spoiling anything. These are in the trailer. But this was a blink and you'll miss it moment. Because they literally had her on screen for all of a second. But she's walking through a portal there. That is a Doctor Strange portal. If you look at the left and right, that is the portal with the line at the bottom.
Yep.
And she's bringing with her a host of Deadpool variants there. Because they've all got the katanas. Yep. That thing floated in the air, I think, is going to be Headpool.
100%.
That's got to be him, hasn't it? You can 100%. See the cowboy variant there that we've seen in the other trailer.
Yep.
And then a boatload of others. There's going to be apparently there's going to be a kid Deadpool because he was revealed in the Funko line. Yeah. And yesterday Funko put out the images for Lady Deadpool because she's now in the trailer, so they put the image out for the Funko now.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued. And if that is his wife, I called it so long ago. And I'm so happy about that. It's got to be her, right? It looks like her. It's got to
one of the biggest theories online at the moment is that it's going to be Ryan Reynolds as Lady Deadpool.
That would be hilarious.
However, he said in an interview with Vanity Fair or TMZ or someone like that, literally today or yesterday, that is not him. He is not Lady Deadpool. So it's kind of come from his mouth directly. How much how much can you trust that? I don't know. But looking at it, it's not. That is a woman's figure.
It's a woman's body, yeah.
It would be very easy to CGI his face on a woman's body, but I think that it'd be a bigger pop to have like Blake Lively as the Lady Deadpool. But let's see if you even see her face. You might not even see her face. It might just be her voice.
Yeah. But I think she'll definitely be credited as it. I think it will be her. If not, the only other thing that I could think that would make a massive pop would be if that under that mask was Taylor Swift. That's the only other thing I could think, because she's best friends with him and she's a massive fan of Deadpool. So I mean, that's the only other pop that I think that could get out of that. It's got to be somebody important to play that role. It's got to be someone big, because it just has to be.
Someone big, yeah.
It's been a long time coming, that one.
Yeah. The reveal of who's playing Lady Deadpool has to be bigger than seeing Lady Deadpool in the trailer. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
Because but no, I mean that's it's exciting. It is exciting. One other thing I was thinking of, because this is Wolverine's first appearance in the MCU, do we think there's might be a possibility of a Hulk cameo? 100%.
I think there's going to be a fight between him and Hulk. Or 100%. If they couldn't do Hulk, at least bring in Wendigo, because he fought against Wendigo as well. Yeah.
Well, obviously Wolverine appeared as a Hulk villain, didn't he? Like, well, not a villain, but he appeared in the Hulk comics. That was where he debuted, in the kind of tiger thing. We were discussing during the week, there's like a breakdown of the trailer, isn't there, where they talk about, it's the bit with Sabretooth, and if you watch it carefully, the swords in his back and the knives in his back and that appear and disappear. So that trailer's cut together to make it look like Deadpool is giving him the build up for the fight with Sabretooth. Yeah. But when he's fighting Sabretooth, he doesn't have all the weapons stuck in his body. So that whole talk is something, that's something else. Fuzzy Dunlop in the chat just said, when Deadpool says, this is the fight we've been waiting for, it's obviously the Hulk. And that's the part that we're talking about. That there's, he's taken all the weapons out and he said, people have waited years for this fight or something like that. That, to me, I think is going to be the Hulk. Because the Hulk's a very easy character for them to include because it's CGI. So they could easily, and the thing with the Hulk you've got to remember as well is that they haven't got the rights to make a standalone Hulk film. They've only got the rights to use Hulk in other films, hence why he's always shown up in other things, and why Ragnarok was kind of a Hulk-esque movie, but a Thor title. So putting Hulk in here would work. I think it will be a fight scene. I don't think there'll be any bigger kind of thing to it. I just think it will be a fight scene. I think if I was to hesitate a guess, I think in that bit with Sabretooth and everything like that, I think that's kind of, there's some kind of group going on in this void world place, and I think he fights Sabretooth, kills Sabretooth, and then that's when he says who's next, and then they release the Hulk. There is another thing as well, and again, I'll say it ahead of it, but spoilers for anyone that hasn't been looking at the kind of internet. But we did see a kind of a behind the scenes photograph of Wolverine and Deadpool holding somebody's head a while back.
I can't remember this.
I'll tell you off camera. But we did see a behind the scenes thing of him holding somebody's head, so we know how something goes. But yeah, I 100% think that's the Hulk, that they're going to fight the Hulk. And I think if we get something like Age of Ultron Rage Hulk, that would be quite cool. Like, it's got to be a monster Hulk.
I hope it's that, and I do hope they try and, like, Deadpool tries to do the whole the sun's getting real low, and then have Hulk just completely splatter him in the face or something. That's where Wolverine fights him. That would be the best introduction to that ever. But no, I was thinking like that, or maybe the only thing I could think of is, because if you look at the soundtrack, there is Avril Lavigne's "I'm With You" on it. Obviously, famously, Avril Lavigne is Canadian. Ryan Reynolds is Canadian. You know, the whole Deadpool is Canadian. There's that. I think there's got to be. I think there's going to be a joke in there somewhere to do with Alpha Flight and Sasquatch, and that's the only thing I could think of. If it wasn't the Hulk, if it's not Wendigo, then you've got Sasquatch. Would be a good one to include. Yeah, because he fits in with Deadpool and everything. I think
like the team behind Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, like the whole team, I think they realised that if they made it a cameo fest, as long as it was done correctly, it wouldn't be looked badly upon. You know, so I think they've got the opportunity to put in loads of little cameos and stuff. And I think if you think about the kind of the Deadpool kills the universe, the Marvel Universe comic book, he literally goes through everyone. And you know, in the trailer, like you pointed out, like he does the Spider-Man thwip noises in the car.
Yeah, he does.
Like he's either seen that or he's referencing something that you know. So are they coming away from a place where they've seen Spider-Man, or are they referencing? You know what I mean? So there's so much going on. I just can't wait.
That bit in the trailer seemed like they were leading to something, because they did it at the very end of the trailer, and it's very cut and dead, isn't it? He does the noise, he tells him to stop it, and he does one last little whoop, and then it just cuts to black. So I mean, they're trying to hint at something there, I think.
Yeah. So I see it Wednesday night. Wednesday night I'm going to see it.
Thursday morning. But yeah, we're gonna do a show that night, aren't we? And break it all down and go full spoiler. And
we are. Now I might be back a little bit later than we've originally planned, but we are definitely going to go live Thursday night.
Yeah. What's Thursday? Wasn't it? Yeah, Thursday comes out. 25th.
We did the 25th, didn't we?
Yeah. So, are you seeing it? You're seeing it
I'm seeing it midnight Wednesday, but then I might be somewhere else on Thursday.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But I'll be back to do the show, but we might just go out a little bit later. But either way, we'll do our breakdown afterwards because we both would have seen it. I'm really excited. Annoyingly, like none of my friends locally could make it to the midnight showing, and I was like, sod it, I'm going on my own. I don't even care. Midnight. I'm going, I'm enjoying it, I'm coming home, I'm going to bed.
But I tell you what, that scene with X-23 that we see as well, because that was a big reveal. To see her back, because she's obviously back. She was a kid when she played it first time around. So this time around, we get to see her play it like from the adult perspective. And are we gonna? I'm hoping we see her in the X-23 costume. I don't think we'll see her in the yellow and blue, because Wolverine's going to be in that, and that's going to be a big pop for Hugh Jackman. But I think to see her in the grey and black, the X-Force gear would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be a really good one. What's interesting about that particular scene as well is she refers to her like the guy in her universe or whatever. Like he says something about, I'm not the person that you're looking for.
Yeah, did you see the interview with her about this? Because she's spoken out about it now. She's been allowed to, because you now reveal it. She was saying she was excited with this role because at this point in her timeline, she's lost her father. She's lost Wolverine, because at the end of Logan dies, and she has to deal with the whole. Because then she goes on as the new hero to help them kids get into Canada and stop being hunted. So in this point in her timeline, she's already lost Wolverine, and now she's found him again. So she has this like wanting to like prove herself to her father kind of thing.
Yeah, which
And
is really
save him this
interesting.
time.
But then timeline wise, it's put in Deadpool. Like this is where it doesn't make sense to me, because Deadpool 1 and 2, obviously, you see Colossus and they're at the thing, they're at the mansion, and in one scene you see the First Class team, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
But then Logan is taking place further forward in the future when they're all dead, and obviously Charles Xavier is Patrick Stewart again.
Yeah.
So if this is even further forward, if this is like, 5, 10, 15 years after that, where she's now grown up, it's so far in the future compared to where the thing is. So it has to be, they have to have jumped through time somewhere to see her. I don't think she's on their timeline. I don't think.
Like Loki, I don't think it matters because they're all in the Void World. They've all come from various universes. They're now trapped in that Void World, aren't they, with the big beastie thing?
She didn't look like she did. She looked like she was in some woods or something. It looked different. It looked. So I just thought that maybe there's somewhere else, that this is a different timeline, which would be quite cool and kind of set me off on a tangent. And I was thinking, well, actually, if they're jumping through portals to visit different characters on different timelines, kind of recruiting some kind of team or trying to, not get the Infinity Stones, but you know what they did with the Infinity Stones, where they tried to get them all and they visited all the different timelines, that they're doing something similar to that, and that's where they come across her. So this is essentially in the future as opposed to on their timeline, because it just makes no sense timeline wise.
What if this is where my mind goes, but this is definitely not happening, but when your mind goes a bit mental and you think to yourself, this is where because like those portals are Doctor Strange's portals. There's no two ways about it.
No, they're definitely a what's it? Mystic. What are they called? Sling ring. They've got a name though. What are they called? Like the sorcerer. I can't remember, but yeah.
Because I'm wondering whether Wong's going. I don't think Benedict Cumberbatch will be in this, but you could see Wong appearing, because he's he's done a lot of comedic scenes anyway now at this point, like with the girl and stuff. So I mean, he would fit into Deadpool quite easily.
Yeah.
And he is technically the Supreme, isn't he, at this point?
Mm-hmm.
What if, right? By saving Wolverine and bringing Deadpool and Wolverine into the MCU timeline, that would completely save the lives of Tony and Captain America, because then they could defeat Thanos, because them two are friggin' immortal, technically. They can't die. Thanos wouldn't be able to defeat them. They would then give them the edge against Thanos. What if that was the reason for bringing them in? And then there's kind of like he's the big hero moment, and then it resets the timeline a little bit, ready for Secret Wars.
I don't think you're far wrong. After hearing that Kevin Feige comment,
there's got to be repercussions for this movie, for the timeline on the greater scale, in my opinion, to make this worthy of a big deal.
I just think if you look at Infinity War and Endgame, the way they had to be so careful about where they were going and what they were doing, and you think about the Ancient One and when she talks about the different timelines and how they work and stuff, like the repercussions of what they're doing has got to have some kind of effect.
What if this was the last thing the Ancient One did before she died? What if it is the Ancient One doing the portals for him, and she's,
maybe. Either way, it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. It really is. Awesome. Other trailers: Beetlejuice.
We finally got a bit of a story trailer this time around.
Yeah, it looks
to see what's going on with it.
Graphic as well in comparison to the earlier one. It's definitely a lot more graphic.
I'm intrigued by this one a lot.
Yeah.
Although they definitely are she is basically playing Wednesday. Come on, they've given her that same gothic, moody teenage role.
It's Wednesday with a bit more colour in her cheeks. That's essentially it. But that's, you know what I mean. You do what you're good at, and she's clearly good at playing that kind of character. I love the first one. I'm not hating on it at all by saying this comment, but this one feels like there's a lot more like direction in the story. You know what I mean? Like the other story feels like you could have kind of written it on the back of a movie box and you would kind of get an idea of what the story was, whereas this looks there's a lot more to it. you hear a couple of, we've heard Jenna Ortega say Beetlejuice,
Yeah.
and now in this one you heard Winona Ryder say it. So he's obviously been called more than once. Like, so there's lots going on, and he's got like all these these Beetlejuice minions, hasn't it? It's mental.
That's definitely paying homage to like the Broadway play, isn't it? Because in the Broadway, there's that whole musical number where he has all the different versions of himself.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether Bob and stuff are all other Beetlejuices kind of thing. Like there is kind of like other halves or whatever.
Possibly.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what was interesting. Obviously, I think that it looks like Jenny Ortega gets kidnapped by Deadpool's by Beetlejuice's ex-wife.
Yes.
That's kind of like the idea, isn't it? But then they showed in the trailer, she picks that guy up and like inhales him almost, like sucks his soul out. So she's like a badass character. Kind of
it's the bit with the phones at the end when he's like, and they all get sucked into their phone. I just thought, wow, that's that. What a way to throw it back at the current kind of demographic. But yeah, no, I just think it looks really cool. I just think because of obviously the way Beetlejuice looks, Michael Keaton looks pretty much spot on. Like looks the same. Like there's not a huge amount different there. Everything about it, like I said this previously, but I love the fact that they've kept the original kind of look to the film, like with the sandworms and stuff. Like they've not modernized it. It looks like you could watch these two kind of back to back and not feel like there's been 30 years, 35 years or whatever between them.
Yeah.
But
I still honestly think this film's going to end on a to be continued in part 2 kind of thing. I think they're hiding the fact that this film is a part 1 of 2. Because there's no way they're stopping at Beetlejuice. They're going to make Beetlejuice. They've got to, marketing wise. It's too obvious. But I don't think there would be a third story to do. But they could elongate the story by making it a 2-parter. Yeah.
What if it's something really cheesy, like Jenna Ortega becomes the new Beetlejuice? You can see it happening. Like it's like really cheesy in Hollywood, and they kind of pass the mantle so that they can prolong the franchise.
Well, there's still a character we've not seen yet. We know there's somebody else in this movie, if you remember from a while back from the casting calls, and
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp's in there somewhere. He's hiding, and he was cast. He was definitely billed in this movie, and then there was a load of fan art went out saying that he was going to be like a nemesis to Beetlejuice, which would have been awesome to see. But then they quickly removed all things to do with Johnny Depp in this movie. And then they've now made this trailer, and we've still not seen him in it, but he's still billed to be in it.
It wasn't at the same time all the court case stuff was going on, was it?
No. After. Plus, it wouldn't matter anyway, because it wouldn't matter about that, because it's not like the studio would fire him, because he's best friends with Tim Burton.
Yeah,
him and Tim Burton are pally. So I mean, there's no way he would fire him anyway.
No, that's very true.
He would stuck by him, wouldn't it? And I wouldn't even be surprised if we get a cameo from Helen Bonham Carter in it. I really wouldn't. They all work together. They're all friends. He used to be married to her.
Yeah.
It would be almost like because he hasn't made a film in years. I think Demon of what do you call it? Fleet Street, Sweeney Todd. I think that was his last film, wasn't it?
What, Johnny Depp?
No.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. I think that was Tim Burton's last outing, wasn't it? Sweeney Todd.
Possibly.
So I mean, if he's not made a film since then, I can imagine that him and Johnny Depp and Helen Bonham Carter are definitely going to be in this movie together.
Yeah, quite possibly actually. Yeah. I don't know.
The in the trailer when we see his wife, I think she looks awesome. The whole like cause she got a staple gun, like staples her head back together. That's quite cool.
Yeah, mate.
Very Bride of Frankenstein and Corpse Bride inspired, isn't it?
She's somebody as well, isn't she?
I don't know her name though.
No.
But yeah, it looks good. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to it, and it looks like Winona Ryder's almost like a what do you call it? Like a medium kind of thing now, because they sort of say about her mum being a bit mental.
Yeah,
and then it cuts to her in all black doing the seance thing. So,
but the thing is when we last saw her, she was obviously in touch with the dead. So, you imagine being a teenager going from that, and then what I think is interesting is I want to know the story of how she kind of got married, had kids, and all that kind of stuff, because she seems very quirky and weird still in this trailer. So no, I'm excited. I think the nice thing is I can't really guess the story. I can't really guess where it's going. You kind of get a really basic idea of it, but yeah, it's definitely gonna be a good one. 100%.
I'm in Florida when that comes out. So I fly on the 4th or 5th, and that comes out on like the 6th. So it's going to be out while I'm in Orlando. So pretty sure there's going to be Beetlejuice roaming the parks promoting it.
All the merch, mate. All the merch as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all right. Before we do go on to Cobra Kai, though, just dropping all the stuff. All the stuff. Oh look, light is falling down and everything. It's all falling apart, Sorrell. Yeah, before we do go on to talk about Cobra Kai, one last thing. Wolverine and Deadpool again, but talking about merch, there's been a lot of leaked images of in-hand pictures of Wolverine figures, which from Marvel Legends. Now, obviously, we're not really channels to kind of share that stuff and kind of put that out there. I don't have anything against anyone that does. Like, it's totally cool. My opinion is if something's out on the internet, it's out on the internet. But yeah, they look cool, and it's
that one that leaked that I sent you the picture of privately.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure whether that's a custom at this point now.
Now, if you look carefully, there's others in the background.
Ah, okay. So
Yeah,
it looked too similar to the one they've actually just literally released.
Yeah.
Or re-released, technically.
But yeah, no, there was. If you look in the background, there's more. What is interesting about that particular picture, if you look in the background, there's other Marvel Legends figures that we haven't seen yet. That I think are obviously going to come out. Now, whether they're related to the Deadpool Wolverine film or not, I don't know. But what was interesting about this particular leak is it shows you the back of the box as well. Now, that's the bit that threw me, because on the back of the box, it shows 3 pictures. Have you seen that photograph?
No, I have not seen that one.
So you see 3 pictures. One's obviously Deadpool, one's Wolverine, and one's Headpool.
Okay.
They're the 3 things. But Headpool as a figure makes 0 sense. Now, I know that Marvel Legends have kind of done smaller figures like Rocket Raccoon and Howard the Duck and that, but I think it would really be pushing it to do a whole box with just the head.
Yeah.
So what I think is quite interesting is I think he would come with somebody else. There's also speculation as well, and been told that this is going to be a wave of 7 figures.
Last time Headpool was released, he came with Lady Deadpool.
Yep.
So, and we know she's in the trailer, so I would presume that would be an easy repaint, repack jobber.
Yeah.
Just modernise it to look like the movie version and put it back out, surely.
Yeah, exactly. What does throw me as well is that there's been some pictures thrown around of like press junkets and that with all the merchandise on, and these Marvel Legends figures are on that merchandise stand. Now, whether this is like a press junket that there was obviously embargoes and kind of NDAs and stuff, and somebody's taken a picture and shared it, I don't know. But I think one thing for sure, we've all known that there's going to be Marvel Legends to support this film, but I think they're going to come out after the release date rather than before.
I think that picture that you're referring to with the press, with all the shelves and all the merch on it that we saw, I think that is the San Diego Comic-Con setup, because it's about the right time. Because bear in mind, there'll be the press opening day on Thursday, then there'll be the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday convention. So they've got to be ready before that. Then there'll be other things. So I think this last couple of days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this week, has probably been when some of the bigger companies are setting up.
Yeah, more than likely. I think that's probably where these leaks
it looks like an
come from.
image that it looks like an image that someone's gone, oh, they've taken a photo of the stall to send to someone to say, look, we're set up, and that image is then just leaked from the cloud or something. That image is just leaked.
Yeah.
How it usually happens.
Marvel Legends do have a live stream tomorrow, I believe, the 22nd. So whether that will be an announcement or whether that will just be kind of a feeler for what's coming for San Diego, who knows? The exciting thing is I was going to say the exciting thing is for Legends collectors is that we've kind of got to the end of the 85th anniversary wave now. So there isn't anything kind of hanging in the mix of what we were expecting to see released. So the next big thing is obviously Wolverine Deadpool. Yeah,
I was going to say, if it's some good-looking merch tomorrow night, do you want to jump online for half an hour and have a chat?
We can do. I'm at Back to the Future musical tomorrow.
Oh.
So it'll be a late one. But yeah, I mean, if there is some good stuff released, we can jump on and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where have they announced the live streams? I was just quickly having a look and I can't see one.
It was.
Where did they
I'll
announce
find
that
it.
before?
I'll find it and send it to you.
Cool.
But yeah, there was something that popped up. I saw it on one of the groups. It said 20 seconds Marvel Legends.
Nice. But yeah,
So,
you're going to see Back to the Future tomorrow.
Yes, mate. Me and my oldest boy, we're going to go and see that. So
Nice.
cannot wait. I haven't seen it yet, so
No, I've not even listened to the soundtrack to that one yet, so I've got no idea.
no, I haven't. I've really stayed back, but it's one of them ones that I've kind of really wanted to go and see, but just kind of waiting for the right opportunity. And obviously everyone's finishing school and that now, so I just said to my eldest boy, well, actually my wife said to my eldest boy, do you and Dad want to go? So I was like, yeah, we do. I don't care whether he says yes or no. So yeah, we're going to that tomorrow. Exciting. We both got our t-shirts, our Back to the Future t-shirts. We're both ready. So yeah, very exciting. But let's get to the part of the show where we're talking about the main part of the show. Now, Cobra Kai season 6 part 1 is obviously out on Netflix. It came out on Thursday.
Yeah.
All 5 episodes of that part 1. The second part isn't out until November, so we've got quite a wait until that comes out. If you haven't watched it yet, then spoilers are going to be ahead. And yeah, Andy Roberts, just quickly, we watched it in New York at Christmas, and it was absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's one of them ones, Andy, that's just kind of avoided me. Every time I've had an opportunity to see it, I've not been able to make it work. So I'm very excited about seeing it tomorrow. But yes, Cobra Kai, part 1 is out. Part 2 comes out in November. But we're going to talk about it. 5 episodes. It dives deep. It mixes things up. So yeah.
It's interesting. I really enjoyed these first 5 episodes.
They really had me hooked. It felt very reminiscent of season 1 to me. That we were kind of, everyone was kind of getting along. Do you know what I mean? Like there's just kind of you're seeing the backstories a little bit more. Whereas the kind of season 2, 3, and 4, it was all about the fight and the rivalry. Whereas this was very much about them as individuals to start with, which I thought was really nice. Where do you want to start? Do we just start from the beginning and work our way through?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay. What are your thoughts then? Come on, where are you at with it?
No, I like I say, I really enjoyed it. It caught me off guard a few. You've gone.
Oh no, I'm here. Hang on, I've turned my camera off.
It caught me off guard a lot. This one, to be honest, it didn't go where I thought it was going to go. At all.
No.
I liked how they chose how they got Barnes back to help choose the things. It kept them to obviously bias, and I liked that. That was really cool.
Yeah.
But I think part 2 is going to definitely be all about the Sakai, whatever you call it. But there's going to be some episodes that are still based, because not everyone's going to get to go. There's only 6 going.
That's what I found interesting about it, is they really made a big thing about the extended dojo and how they've all come together. And there's like 12 main characters, isn't there, out of the kind of students. They're not kids anymore, but out of the students, there's 12 main characters. And obviously they've only taken half of them. So there has to be something going on at home that will kind of keep the story there as well. There has to be.
We saw the kind of refuel of Kenny. He came full circle. He came back to the good, the light side, if you will. And but then towards the end, he felt like he was showing up a few times, and he was obviously, it was Devon Lee. We know Devon did it to him. She put laxatives in his water, so that when he did the run, he messed himself in front of everyone. And then there was that scene
I thought he was going to come back and get her. I thought she was going to lose her space because of it. I was really surprised to see her go through and keep her space. I mean, I really like her character, and I really kind of want her character to have some defining moment, because she's always kind of been that other side, hasn't she? Like on the wrong side of it all. But I was really surprised that didn't come back and get her.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then obviously we saw the thing with I forgot his name. Other LaRusso, baby LaRusso.
Oh,
young lad LaRusso.
Sam and Alex.
I don't know. It's not Alex, but I don't remember his name.
No.
But yeah, the young the lad. And you see sort of they have that moment, don't they, where he gets shown up and stuff by him, and so they've definitely reignited that rivalry back home.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be some stories around them, and then the other people like like Assface, whatever you call him, and all the other random ones that we've kind of seen in the background, and there's going to be some stories there to do.
Did Chosen go back?
I don't know, because he seemed to vanish halfway through this season.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought, that the way they were setting it up.
See, I think they're setting this up because after we found out about Miyagi, and then they kind of chased that guy and found out about his past and stuff like that, he disappeared at that point with no word. So I think there's going to be some episodes of Chosen back home in Japan or China or something.
There was just the scene of him looking up flights, wasn't there? So it was implying that he was going back. But see, my head was that Johnny and LaRusso were going to go to the Sakai, but they were going to go to the competition, and then Chosen was going to stay home with the others. And I thought that there was going to be, that's how they were going to work it. But then Chosen disappears, and both senseis go to the competition. So I was kind of like, okay, that's not quite how I saw it going. But you touched on the Mr. Miyagi thing there. Now in the trailer, that obviously was a big teaser drop, that they found this chest and everything like that.
Yeah.
It really confused the hell out of me. Like, I was kind of like, what am I missing here? Am I missing something?
It was a callback to the third film with Swank, wasn't it? When he gets his medal, you know, when they do the army thing at the beginning, where they're all lined up, and they call him by that name that's in that passport.
What, in the new Karate Kid or the next Karate Kid, whatever?
The one with Hilary Swank in.
Yeah, the next Karate Kid.
Yeah, there's that scene at the beginning where he's in his military uniform and he's getting his medal of honor.
Yeah.
And they're all lined up and stuff. When he gets called forward, they call him the name that is in the passport, which was the name that Daniel LaRusso didn't know him by.
Okay.
So that is a callback to that.
Okay.
But they're basically trying to show that he's not the squeaky clean guy that everyone thinks he is, and he's got a bit of a rebel past.
But where is the point in that storyline? That's what I don't get, because they've not done anything.
Yeah, and then we found out that he had there was the bandana in there that also was from the Sakai Takai, but from years prior.
Yeah.
I think the idea that they're going to go with here is that Mr. Miyagi and, you know, the old man Kim Sung Young, the leader of the Cobra Kai over in South Korea, I think them two fought when they were young men at the Sakai Takai, and Miyagi lost. Miyagi got the crap kicked out of him. That's why he probably, never believed in, because he always told Daniel not to do. He doesn't believe in doing competitions. That's probably why, because he got his ass kicked.
Okay.
Or something happened to him and broke his spirit, kind of thing. I think they're going to do it. So the idea being, Cobra Kai has always been a nemesis of Miyagi-Do. They're going to try and build that up, aren't they? So that not only did Daniel have to face Cobra Kai, but Mr. Miyagi did as well.
Okay,
that would make sense to me.
The bit that confused me, though, was the whole link to the boxing gym and everything like that. Like, there was boxing gloves in there. We went to the boxing gym, and he had, like, a stake in this boxing gym, didn't he? Or he helped set it up or something. And I was like, surely there must be more to this story. That can't just be, oh, Mr. Miyagi had a bit of a past, and therefore it's kind of thrown Daniel LaRusso off a little bit. Like, there needs to be something defining about that moment, because you're effectively changing a 30-year-old story. Like, Mr. Miyagi has always been that squeaky clean kind of sensei. In all of the films, he has the same demeanor, the same outlook. That Miyagi-Do is all very defensive and very calm, and the different katas and stuff like that. But to show that he wasn't that completely, that he had something else, there needs to be something defining. And I don't know whether it's going to be to do with Johnny Lawrence, and it will, whether they kind of do finish this as Johnny taking over Miyagi-Do because he's kind of finally found his place there or something like that. But I think there's potential for this box to link it into this new film with Jackie Chan.
there's something there. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm guessing it'll unfold as we go through. I'm guessing there's going to be they're not going to give us a big reveal till the very end. There's going to be something that keeps us hooked all the way through these 3 parts. So they've given us a bit of a tease now. Part 2 is going to give us a bit more.
Yeah. So out of the main 4, so you've obviously got Miguel, you've got Sam, you've got Tori, you've got
Robbie.
I was thinking like Johnny, but it's not Johnny's
And then they had Hawk and Dimitri as well, haven't they, along with Devon.
And Hawk and Dimitri. But the other 4, like the 2 kind of couples, they're like the 4 main. They're like the lead characters, aren't they?
Yeah.
They all had a very individual but quite strong storyline through these 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Was there a particular storyline that you were more invested in, or were you kind of spread out across all of them?
I liked the idea of. I liked the fact that we got a bit more about Hawk and Dimitri, and sort of like Dimitri's very much, we're going to MIT, and we're going to be binary brothers for life kind of thing. And obviously Hawk's grown up a lot, and he's kind of like, maybe I don't want to do that, and he's trying to be his own man, isn't he? And obviously Dimitri's having a hard time letting go of that. There was that cool moment where they were doing at Coyote Creek when they did the. Or whatever they were, when they were doing the run thing to prove who was going to be on the team. And there was that moment, wasn't there, where him and Hawk came head to head, and he properly kicked Hawk down. He properly gave him a boot.
Yeah.
And then said sorry about it. I thought that was going to be the start of his... Because obviously he's doing it for his girlfriend as well, because his girlfriend likes the idea that he's this big badass now.
Yeah.
They had like a weird moment in this. But yeah, I thought this was going to be the start of Dimitri's kind of bad boy turn, because we've not had that yet. He's the one character that stayed the same. So, I mean, he is due a change-up. And I think Hawk telling him about he's not coming with him could be the moment that defines him a bit more.
It separates them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What I did think, and, credit to the writers here, they really made it so that every one of them had a reason to have a place in that competition. Like, each one, like, I was really struggling with who I wanted to support being in that top 6, and I was like, you kind of have to have Sam because of this, and Robbie has to have it for that, and I like the fact that Robbie's doing it because this is his defining moment, this is his future. Miguel was obviously doing it to enhance his college applications and take him to a different level. Sam's doing it for closure, as she said, but when she said she's doing it for closure, that to me was like the heart-wringing Captain Planet. It was kind of like, oh, come on, they've all got these really good reasons, and I'm doing it for closure.
I don't think Sam is going to face Tori. We think they're going, because obviously, big spoiler at the end, obviously the big reveal at the end was Tori's mum died. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, we'll come on to, because I think there's a theory there. Anyway, her mum dies, and I generally thought she wouldn't be able to go because of that.
Yeah.
But they kind of did something where they kind of said, no, we're not going to allow you to fight, because she started fighting with anger rather than the Miyagi way, and obviously she lost her mum.
But they didn't. The thing that gets me though is they didn't say she wasn't in the competition anymore. Like, basically, to bring it into context, the main 4, the 2 couples, the 2 boys, the 2 girls, had to fight for who had the captain spot. So Robbie beat Miguel and gets the captain spot for the boys, and then Sam and Tori were going to fight out for the captain spot as the girls. Now the captain gets their own fight in the competition if they get to the final. But they never said to her that she's not going on a competition. She was doing a sparring fight or a practice fight to secure or lose the captain spot, and they just stopped that and said, no, listen, now's not the time to do this. And she storms off, and then obviously is a heel turn to rejoin Cobra Kai. But I found that really bizarre, because I was kind of like, is she doing that because they won't let her fight with anger when really that's what she's all about? Or is it that she just kind of misinterpreted what they were saying and thought that she was out?
She misinterpreted it, definitely. Yeah. I don't think they would have kicked her off the team because of it, because she is a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But no, she misinterpreted it, and she's dying for this opportunity, and obviously then Kreese got his claws back in.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about the way that it's written though is that even though she's had a heel turn, I'm fully invested in her story, and I don't want to see her lose. I kind of want her to have that closure, because
Well,
they show you, okay, before you go into the video, they show you that kind of flashback to her and her mum obviously
Yeah.
being a victim of domestic abuse, and talking about how like them as the queen and the princess can fight for themselves. And so it kind of gives you this idea that she's kind of gone through her life fighting that kind of that history. And I kind of want to see her succeed. I want to see that come full circle, you know, especially now she's lost her mum. It's like I'm invested in that, you know.
But do you not think it's funny that Kreese was in the United States to come and see her, and then in the 2 scenes later, her mum's dead, and he needed Tori back. He's already said he needed a female champion. He didn't have one. They were all boys over in South Korea.
So you think he offed her mum?
I think he murdered her mother, knowing that would be the catalyst that brings her back to him. He's very methodical and he's a very nasty dude. He would do that. I think he's killed her mother, and that'll be the big reveal in part 2.
So he literally talks to her in the car park before her mum dies.
Yep.
The next kind of scene is that her mum dies, not like that day, but it's like later on in the scene. And then she obviously has a heel turn and comes back to him.
Yeah. That makes, as a writer's point, and for an idea of a storyline, that makes perfect sense to me. They wouldn't just kill her mum off and then do that scene that they did without something to come back to later in part 2. It just seems too obvious that she's going to find out. So something's going to happen. She's going to find out about her mum, and that something happened and stuff, and then that's going to be her catalyst to kind of bring her out of whatever she's in.
Yeah. Okay. Now you got me on that one. I agree with that one. But then at the same token, I don't want to see her lose, because that makes it even more tragic.
Again, I don't think she'll lose. I think we're all expecting her to go up against Sam. The idea is, I think the idea for Sam is going to be that the closure idea, I don't think she needs to fight Tori to get the closure. She needs to let go. She needs to be at, as the Miyagi would say, then she needs to be at peace. She doesn't need to fight. Why does she need to fight? She doesn't need to prove herself to anyone. She proves herself to herself. I think there's going to be a moment where, because Sam doesn't need to win. She's already got, mum and dad have got money and stuff. She doesn't need to win. I think she'll give the...
Daniel LaRusso did say to her, the good thing about closure is that it's not about winning, it's about...
Yep.
So it's kind of preempting that she's not going to win, but she's going to be okay with that.
She's going to give the headband to... She's going to give the captain spot away, and it's going to be to the other girl, I forgot her name, Devon Lee. She's going to give Devon her chance. Because Devon wanted to be the best of that dojo and prove herself to that Kim Song-young woman.
Yeah.
So then it would put Tori against her. Queen Cobra against Queen Cobra.
Oh, that's good.
That would be a better fight.
Who wins it?
Again, I think there's going to be something where there's going to be a turn somewhere, and obviously I think Tori will get snapped out of it and will rejoin.
Or she doesn't lose on purpose. Doesn't do it on purpose, but she kind of not lets her have the win, but she doesn't need the win to close. Like, because the other really interesting thing about your theory there is that they've already really embedded deeply that the evil person in Tori's past is obviously her dad or her stepdad, whoever that male figure was, kind of throwing her mum around and stuff. And if Kreese is a modern version of that, and that's the evil that she sees, for her to win, for her story to win, she needs to defeat him. She needs to do something to him. So she doesn't need to win the competition to get that closure. She needs to do something with Kreese. So she will lose to Devon. Devon will get her... She'll get her bit. She'll win that. Sam will get hers by obviously closure and passing it over. And Tori will get hers by doing something to Kreese.
I also think, as a part of the Sakai Takai, one thing they've not seen yet and have not heard about yet, I think that there will be a fight. There's going to be a moment where they're going to... It'll be like surprise thing for the competition where they will ask each of the dojos to choose one of their senseis as a champion, and that's where Daniel will put thingy forward. What's he called? Johnny Lawrence, saying, I've taught you everything I know. You've learnt Miyagi-Do. You know Cobra Kai. You're the best chance we've got. Sends him in. Kreese versus Johnny. Because Kreese has had that moment now in the cave with the Cobra, where he knows that Johnny Lawrence is the one thing that stands in his way of victory. That makes sense to come full circle to have them confront each other at the Sakai Takai. Rather than a street fight, have them actually go at it on the mat.
That would be good.
That would be damn good, wouldn't it? And then we get to see that moment of he's going to give. I think he'll show mercy to Johnny, honestly, because I still think there's that moment that I've said before where they need to have a moment now where he's like, you were like a son to me kind of moment.
Yeah, but he had that in the cave, and then realised that he had to go past that.
He's got to come. Everyone in Karate Kid comes the full circle to be the hero again.
Doesn't need it. Kreese doesn't need it. I think the way it will go is that if that happens, I think what will happen is that Kreese won't hold back because he doesn't have to now. He's kind of met that snake and realises that he's got to push through. But Johnny Lawrence will beat him, knowing because of everything he knows, and part of the Miyagi-Do that's now inside him. It'll be the Miyagi-Do element that helps him beat Kreese finally, and that's what kind of elevates him to that status. That Daniel LaRusso then allows him to continue with Miyagi-Do, allowing Daniel LaRusso to go off on the little mission that he needs to go off on. That's the next Karate Kid film.
Well, I think because it's the global competition, we kind of saw some other teams come in, but we didn't see China. When I think China's sensei is going to be Jackie Chan. That's how they'll work him in, and that he'll meet Daniel and they'll start talking. I think that'll be the catalyst for the movie then.
Okay.
Let Johnny have his moment with Kreese in the competition. Daniel doesn't need that. Then just have Daniel be so involved in this Mr. Miyagi story, and something comes about with, Jackie Chan's character, and then that's how the movie comes about.
Okay, that works.
It's got to be something that spins off from this, hasn't it, to make it tie it all together.
That ties everyone off except for Robbie and Miguel.
That's the thing. I don't know where their story's going to go. Because obviously, Robbie's the champion now. Robbie's now he's going to be the one that does the fight. He's going to be the one representing.
I don't think Miguel needs the fight. He doesn't need the win. I think because he's not the champion, he'll win his bout. He'll probably go up against they had in the South Korean team, they had the old best fighter that had the badge ripped off. That's who Miguel's going to fight, and he'll win. He'll beat him. And that will be enough that he will have his moment, and it will allow him to do what he needs to do. Whether that's local college, whether that's local university, whether that's whatever. But that will be enough for him. I think they're really building it up to the fact that Robbie's always lost. When it gets to the final, when it gets to the big fight, he's always losing, and he always comes second. And I think he will go up against the big bad guy at the South Korean team, who's awesome, by the way. Such a cool bad guy. I think he'll go up against him and he will beat him, and it will be his kind of moment in the sun, and that will allow him to elevate to another status. Do you know what I mean?
He was rough as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. He
was. I mean, that fight where he basically took them three guys out, I thought he killed them. From how they choreographed that, it looked like he broke the guy's neck.
Yeah, it was
obviously
rough.
Didn't, but that was.
And the way he ripped the badge off and was like, "This is mine now." It was like, but it just shows Kreese. Like Kreese basically went in there and took the rotten apple in the group and elevated him to the top, which is just Cobra Kai to a T. It's very cool, very very cool. But it's just all the little side stories as well, like seeing Stingray kind of
That's the thing I was going to come on to.
Yeah.
He's now got his own. Well, they're all kids, but they're planting something there because he's now a dojo leader himself. He's like helping these kids train, and he's got the black and red Cobra Kai outfit. He's not gone for the yellow. He's gone for the black and red, and he's got his own Stingray logo.
Yeah. It is an interesting little kind of sub story. And at the time, I just thought, oh, is this just to show Johnny Lawrence that he doesn't need Cobra Kai and kind of give him that defining moment? But yeah, I think you're right. I think there's something there. There's some kind of story arc there that Cobra Kai isn't dead completely, because there are still people out there that believe in it. And, you know, when you think about it, you've got South Korean Cobra Kai, and now you've got Stingray's Cobra Kai. So there are two kind of branches of Cobra Kai out there doing Cobra Kai. But yeah,
What if my thoughts was, what if Stingray, in the second part, we see more of him and the other kids that are at home and stuff? Because there's all the ones that he hung about with, like the little blonde kid with glasses, and he kind of hung around with them, didn't he, the geeky ones?
yeah,
What if they... And I think there's going to be something with Silver. I don't think Silver's gone, because the fact that all the senseis are now abroad, and the valley's now left, it's because Chosen's gone as well. Barnes lost everything because of Silver and Grease. There's got to be a comeback there as well, I think. Another callback.
yeah.
So I'm wondering whether Stingray's going to kind of, like, either think he comes back and basically, says you're not Cobra Kai or whatever, and I think Stingray's going to change the name of it to Stingray or something, or Stingray Doe, or he'll come up with a new name.
Yeah, okay, fair
And
enough.
I think Kenny will align himself with him and a couple of others. I think there'll be a new little faction out of them. Or my other thought was, what if Kenny and Stingray and a couple of others join up with Barnes, and Barnes makes his own faction. When Daniel and that come home, Barnes has now got his own dojo of kids that are, Cobra Kai almost.
It would make sense to kind of create another group. But they're very much making it about, like, it's not about the valley anymore, it's a bigger picture. So to have another karate dojo kind of showing up in the valley,
there's got to be something for the kids at home to do, and I'm thinking more for Daniel LaRusso's son.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to feel like he's got to protect the valley while his dad's not around, kind of thing. Sam's not there, Robbie's not there, his dad's not there, Chosen's gone home, Johnny's gone. He's the last man standing.
Like, the other thing as well is that we didn't see who went to Spain, isn't it, where they're doing it? We didn't see who went to Spain. Like, just because they're not in the competition, there might still be a couple of them that went with them to Spain. Because then there's always the opportunity for kind of sub-stories outside of the competition with all of these other dojos. But obviously I can't... Like, there was never any talk about how it was funded or, where the money came from. Because obviously, like, Johnny Lawrence, we saw this whole thing about how he needs to get his finances in order, and he starts working for LaRusso and stuff so that he can get a better house. So I can't imagine him being able to afford to take him, Miguel, and
Carmen.
And no, not Sam. Him,
Robbie.
Miguel, and Robbie to Spain. Like, I mean, that's an expensive trip for a person that's not really earning that much money, and money's not the best thing for him at the moment. So there must be some kind of funding or something like that. But yeah, we don't know who's there. They might all have gone.
I doubt it, because I feel by having them at home, and with the fact that we know Silver got arrested, but he's not really done that much other than battery. Let's be honest, he didn't really do a great deal.
Yeah.
And he's going to have a damn good lawyer because he's a millionaire. So I think there's something there where, Mrs. LaRusso's at home. She's going to be running the dealership and looking after her son. Then you've got Carmen, who, again, Miguel's not there to protect her and stuff. She's on her own, with his grandma and stuff. There's a vulnerability there for them as characters in the valley.
Yeah.
All the good fighters that would protect them have gone.
And considering the last 5 series has all been about people coming for their families, coming for their loved ones and stuff, and then all of a sudden they've all gone off to Spain. Like, I think you're right. There's definitely a vulnerability. I think that's a really good word for it. So yeah, there is the opportunity for a story there. The only bit that I didn't get, the big kind of plot hole for me, was that Kreese is obviously broken out of prison.
Yep.
Like, why is it when he walked out on that mat, someone didn't go, he's escaped prison, like, someone call the police? Like, I mean, like, you wouldn't...
Small town criminal. He's not like he's
He still broke out of prison.
He broke out of prison, but he wouldn't be on like the FBI's Most Wanted. He wouldn't be on.
No, but you would literally listen. If you were stood on the other side of that and he walked out, especially when Tory came out, you'd be like, "So we got good police. He's broken out of prison. He shouldn't even be here." Like, it's But the other thing for it as well is that it's going to be a televised event, so that's got to come back somewhere. They've got to put that reality in it. I'm really still hoping for a Hilary Swank cameo somewhere.
I'm wondering whether she's going to be the thing that helps Tory. Not because having a help Sam is too easy.
Yeah,
she's the Miyagi-Do daughter and all that. Nah, it's too easy. I think helping Tory would be a lot better.
Yeah,
because then we could see Hilary Swank versus that Cobra Kai lady as well. I can never remember her name. It could be cool to see her versus her. You know what I mean? Hilary Swank versus her.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool. But Sam's story, to me, out of all of the stories, seems the most kind of complete. And it's kind of like whatever they decide to do with her, it feels like that would be a happy ending. Because, like we said, that whole kind of closure speech just kind of basically tells us as the audience, you know what, we're going to softly close this one because all she wants is closure. So they can pretty much do what they want with that and kind of shut that story off. So no, I don't think it would be for Sam. But I don't see the point in showing us that much of Tori's pain and history and all that's going on with her mum and everything like that for us to just hate her again because she's the bad guy. Like, there has to be a redemption. There has to be some kind of story that's there that gives her that redemption. It has 100%, to be
100%.
But I don't know. All in all, though, I absolutely loved it. I just thought it was a brilliant thing. And there's two more parts, isn't there? So we've got the second part in November, and then the final episode, comes out in December or January?
There's another 5. There's 15 episodes this season, so there's going to be 5.
There's another 5 episodes.
Yeah. So we've got part 1 is the first 5. That is the setting up of the season, getting them for the Sakai Takai and choosing the champions. Part 2, I reckon, is going to be all about the Sakai Takai, and that'll be concluded after the 5 episodes. It'll just be 5 episodes of tournament. Then, I think the final 5 is going to be how we close the whole thing off, and the fallout of what's happened, and that'll be the final closure.
Whoa! See, I thought that there was 5, and then a one-off kind of.
No, and the run times get longer the further in we get.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. I think you're right, though. I think the next 5 are going to be all about the two stories: what's happening back home and what's happening at the competition, and then it would round up by the end of that.
Yeah, the funny part is, we've had all the names of the episodes. Like I said before, we kind of ran through them on like a previous show. Then we don't know the names of the episodes for parts 2 and 3 just yet, but we do know the name of the last episode. They've already named it; it's already there. The last episode is called The Ex-Degenerate. And all of the writers that have been involved, all of them that have wrote these episodes, like 5 people are credited for this final episode.
See, I think that refers to Johnny.
Yeah, an Ex-Degenerate. Yeah. It's got to be Johnny on it.
Seeing his story so far on this, I think that is Johnny we're talking about. Because that's what Cobra Kai was. This series, the whole thing started seeing Karate Kid from the perspective of Johnny Lawrence as an adult. That's what I think we kind of forget with all the stuff going on, is that this started off as what's happening to Johnny Lawrence 30 years on. So to kind of close the whole series with where he's kind of gone, so we see his journey over the 5 series.
Yeah,
would be a really nice one, because I really love him as a character, and I didn't like him obviously in the films because he was the bad guy, but I've really kind of grown to love the character.
Yeah, 100%. I don't see him moving forward into the next Karate Kid movie either. I think Johnny Lawrence's story ends with Cobra Kai. Yeah, 100%. So far we know, for the new movie in 2025, so far we know that Ralph Macchio is going to be there as Danny LaRusso. Jackie Chan has been cast and he's replaying Mr. Han. Then we've got another bunch of other characters we've got Ben Wang playing Li Fong, which is from the Cobra Kai series, so that's interesting.
Is he? Which character is he?
Lee Fong is the Japanese, the guy from South Korea, the old guy.
Ah, okay.
So he's staying on as a thingy in it, which is quite cool.
That's interesting.
And you know the young Chinese boy that fought in the remake with Jackie Chan. You know the bad kid.
Yeah.
The same actor, Louis Fong, he's in this film back as Ben Wang again. He's playing the same role.
Ah, okay.
So he's coming back as an adult in this one, but we've not had an announcement whether or not Will Smith's kid's in it or not yet, which is interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, Ben Wang as Lee Fong's going to be in this film, which is interesting.
But then wasn't this because the new one was based in China, wasn't it?
He was.
And it was all about Jada Smith, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith's character.
But they moved to China, didn't they? And essentially, it was like a reverse version of the Karate Kid, wasn't it? Where he's moved to China and he's getting picked on by the locals and learns karate or learns kung fu, doesn't he? To deal with that. So we don't necessarily need him in it because he's gone off wherever he is. But to have those other characters is interesting. His
mum's in it. So you know the one that played his mum?
Yeah.
She's in it.
Yeah, but that could just be a cameo for a cameo.
Yeah, Shawnette Renee Wilson's already been cast in this. And then in an undisclosed role, Ming-Na Wen.
Which is?
From Star Wars. Chun-Li.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like...
And she knows Kung Fu in real life. She's actually a martial artist.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. Yeah. That is a very interesting one. I didn't know that she's in it. Oh, okay. Do we know how much of a role Daniel LaRusso has in this film? Because obviously we've seen him announce it, but he might only be in it for a short amount of time.
Well, Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio have both been leading this movie, so I think the film's about them too. I think this is a way of tying the whole universe together.
Yeah, that's the assumption, isn't it? And that's what I think they're going to do. But if they've got this plan, to tie in the Jackie Chan film, which is obviously in a new kind of reimagining of Karate Kid,
yeah,
tie that in with the original Karate Kid films and of course the Cobra Kai series, then we have to have a Hilary Swank cameo, because otherwise they're going to get to that stage and leave out a big chunk of it. There's no two ways about it. It happened and it had Mr. Miyagi in it, so it is part of the Karate Kid story.
The people that made Cobra Kai have already said on record, this is not the end of the Miyagi-verse. They're calling it the Miyagi-verse now. And that there are other projects with Netflix coming up. Okay, so whether or not there's going to be another Cobra Kai style programming, but with Hilary Swank as the Daniel LaRusso character, basically, like from her perspective.
Okay, I can kind of get behind that. I'd rather see her tied in with this.
I would rather see her be a part of this larger story. I want to see her and Daniel LaRusso on the screen togetare. I don't want to see them separated. I want them together on it.
I would like, if they are going to do spin-offs, if they're going to do spin-offs, these are the ones that I'd like. It's 3 spin-offs in total. One would follow Robbie's storyline, because they've made it quite obvious that he doesn't have anything but karate. That's his direction. That's where he's going to go. So whether we see him turn into a sensei, whether we see him kind of the Karate Kid treatment and he kind of gets that younger person and does the Mr. Miyagi-esque kind of storyline, that's something with Robbie that shows his direction. The other one would be to see what happens to the younger kids, because we're kind of seeing the end of the story for like the Hawks and the Miguels and that kind of stuff, but there are a bunch of younger kids involved, and then of course all the other people that Stingray has started to train and stuff. So to see something with them, see where that's going, that would be quite an interesting storyline. And I would like to see like a Chosen spin-off, whether it's a full series, whether it's just a couple of episodes, but just shows something about either his past or his future, but something to flesh that character out aside from just being an ensemble character.
Yeah.
That's where I'd like to go, and that would allow you to kind of expand that Miyagi verse a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
For me, I'd like them to follow Hawk. I find Hawk quite an endearing character.
I love Hawk, especially when you think back to how he was, because he was, he was made fun of because of his lip. He was like, he was a geek, wasn't he? And he kind of learnt karate to kind of fight back.
Sadly, the way things are going and what they wanted, the style of the series,
he's going to heal them.
No. I've got a feeling that if we get a spin-off, I think it's going to be called Stingray. No. I think that's the only... He's like a Kung Fu Panda, isn't he? He's like Kung Fu Panda, for God's sake. He's the one that they would make a kids series around, with him in the woods, with them stupid kids. That they've planted that seed for a damn reason.
Listen, I would happily have a Stingray spin-off, as long as it's not just a Stingray spin-off. Like, I would quite happily watch a live-action Kung Fu Panda. Like, what I like about his character is it is all jokes. It is all kind of tongue-in-cheek, even down to how he kind of like nicknamed the kids and stuff like that. But I wouldn't want him. Like, it's funny because it's in doses. I wouldn't want it to be like I couldn't watch 45 minutes of that over like 10 episodes. No, I'd have to do something with it.
But I think you just see it and you're like, they've planted that seed for a damn reason. They've put that bit in that. It was so random, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just to see that in there, unless they're coming back to that in part 2 or 3, and we're going to get more story. I'm hoping it's that. But
it could be a link into to what's going on, like you say, what's going on at home, why the others are all away.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I don't really know where the Dimitri and Hawk storyline's going. Like which kind of, they're always kind of side characters in the earlier series, weren't they?
Yeah.
But I think they deserve some kind of conclusion, and I don't really know where it's going.
I honestly thought, my thoughts until that final moment where they put Hawk in because he was it was like the second choice after Tori. Which I thought was a kick in the teeth for the poor lad, but I honestly thought the way they were going, because you sort of saw Hawk have a little turn again, that where he wasn't being chosen, he wanted to be chosen, and he was starting to get upset again and getting a bit angry. I wanted to see Hawk, Kenny, and Tori kind of become their own little faction again. I wanted them to like kind of not like almost bring back Cobra Kai to themselves, kind of thing. I thought that's where they were going to go with it. We knew damn well they were going to choose Sam and Robbie because they're the original, two, students that for the whole Miyagi-Do thing. And then you had the other guys that came up afterwards, and they're kind of there. But yeah, I thought it would be really cool to have those 3 characters kind of clubbed together as kind of like the underdogs.
Yeah. They need to do something with what's his name? It's the young kid that Robbie took, Kenny. They need to do something with Kenny's story. It's not. There's definitely something unfinished there.
Yeah. For all we know, while they're away, it's going to be Hilary Swank that's revealed as their sensei during this time while Daniel's not there because she's a Miyagi-Do student. Maybe they do know each other, and we've just something they've done. It's something that's happened off screen that we've not seen. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the other thing that did strike me as weird, is that they didn't really explain what was going on with the school while they were away. So, in reality, okay, it's 5 episodes and the rest of it, but it would only be a short amount of time. It's not, like they could just call the classes off for the time they're away, because technically it would only be a few days, wouldn't it? But yeah, it just seemed very odd that it was never mentioned. Like, it's not like it could have been a throwaway line, as in, like, while we're away, obviously you guys will have time to reflect and make sure you stay up to date with this and this. But they never mentioned anything about what was going on. And it was almost like, right, you lot there, you're not in our top 6, so just do what you want for a week and we'll be back. Right, we'll forget about you. But there was a lot of extra people with Miyagi-Do now, wasn't there?
Yeah.
What do you, before we kind of get to the end, one other thing that I think we need to touch on, what did you think of the kind of rebranding?
Oh, with the new symbol and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah?
I liked it. I thought he showed great, because like Johnny said, there was no real history with Eagle Fang. He made it as an offshoot of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's really fallen out with Kreese, and he wants to leave that part of his life behind him. He's trying to better himself.
Yep.
So I got the whole, him kind of succumbing to because all of them kind of at the same time they were all going to surrender to each other basically, weren't they, at that point?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it made sense.
I really like that bit of the story where they all kind of realised that the other person could have the win, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was quite, because we did pick up on that, didn't we, at the beginning when we saw that logo for the first time. We said about the eagle and all the rest of it.
It was cool that they included the eagle in the logo. It'll be there forever now, kind of thing, as Johnny's little touch on Miyagi-Do.
One last kind of like thing. Do you think there's anything that we've not, like, do you think there's any storylines that they've not started yet that's going to come into it in this next bit?
Oh God, yeah. Come on.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Cobra Kai. It's cheese. It's popcorn television at its finest. There's got to be something, and I think it's going to be something to do with Silver. Honestly, I think Silver will. There's no way they've got all these characters in the final season, and one of the main bad guys from the original Karate Kid series is not going to come back. Yeah,
he's definitely going to pop up at some point. I was just kind of racking my brains the other day, and I was trying to think if there was anyone that hasn't come into it that kind of should. But I think they've pretty much touched on everyone now, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have. The only thing that they've missed out on is my only other thought was, which I thought could be interesting as then an offshoot, maybe spin-off, is Moon's character, the girl. Mm-hmm. That went out with Hawk. What if this summer she decides to learn karate like the rest of them, and that's where Hilary Swank comes into it? And that Moon teaches Hilary?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Hilary teaches Moon karate? Yeah. I thought she's the only character they've not actually done anything with.
Yeah. She needs to be
even Blondie came back. What's she called? The mean girl. Who's dating Dimitri? Even she came back again in this one for a quick cameo. So,
and it was all little cameos as well. Like the Asian woman that was dating Daniel LaRusso in Karate Kid 2. Mm-hmm. Like she cameoed in the last series, didn't she? And stuff. Like, I just
Unless they're saving Moon for when Hawk returns victorious, and then he kind of wins the girl, and he gets to live out his geek dream.
That's the only thing about that. That's the only storyline that I can't quite figure out an ending to, is where Hawks is going to go, because the whole way along it was all about MIT, and yes, we're geeks at the end, at the kind of core of it, but we're going to go to MIT. And now all of a sudden he said, you know what, that's not what's important to me now. So I don't really see where they're going to take him. I'm interested to see. I mean, he could become a sensei as well, I guess. He could, him and Johnny taking over Miyagi-Do after the others step back. That'd be quite cool.
There's more to be done with his character, definitely.
Yeah. A Hawk spin-off would be quite cool. I'd watch that.
I think the Sekai Takai is going to be more brutal than we're expecting, though. I don't think... There needs to be something, because it can't just be a bunch of montage fights like we've had before. This needs to be next level.
Yeah.
The stakes need to be high. So I can't see them just doing a bunch of montage fight scenes to music like they've done before, and just having the Robbie get to the semi-finals for no reason and get Sam to go to the semi. There's got to be something. There's got to be some changes, some switch-ups. There's got to be some heartbreak. There's got to be some victories. There's got to be a mixture of emotions in there to keep us hooked for 5 episodes.
Yeah, I think we're going to see.
I don't think it's going to go straight. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be it's straightforward as we're hoping.
No, I think we'll definitely see a lot of the fights. I think that's where they'll flesh it out.
And Mike Barnes made a big point of saying the Sekai Takai breaks people, and people have even died at this competition.
Yeah, that was to start with. I thought that was just him being like brutal, because his whole approach was very brutal. But then when you saw the blood on Mr. Miyagi's headband, and I was like, oh, actually, like that's intense. Like that is
What?
intense.
Completely 180. But what if the big bad guy from South Korea actually kills one of them? What if in his fight with Robbie, he actually murders Robbie or something? What if something happens to one of them?
Dimitri.
He's the one that we could lose. He's the little scrawny kid. I just think
The reason being,
something's got to happen, or maybe because Kreese knows about Miguel's injury.
no, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think that Dimitri is going down. Because if you think about it as well, all of them, he is the only one that has his path set. All of the others have to achieve something or have to do something in order to kind of move on to their next step. Whereas Dimitri has his course set, and he's got the girlfriend, he's got the MIT path, he's been accepted. If he actually got killed at the competition because of this bad guy, that would be a really interesting one.
And then it becomes Hawk's mission to redeem, for his friend kind of thing.
That's it.
That becomes Hawk's mission.
But then obviously that's very anti-Miyagi-Do to do it from revenge and anger and all that kind of stuff. But it's not
out of anger. He's going to do it out of love. It's not going to be out of anger. That'll be made clear. He's going to have a moment where he's going to be pissed off. And he's going to be angry and he's going to be hurt.
Yeah.
But then he's going to fight back. That's the whole point. He's going to go up against to defeat the bully, to take out the bad guy.
So then would they need somebody else to step in to fill that sixth place?
Potentially.
Kenny, Dimitri's been killed. We need you to get over to Spain quickly. No, I think that's that. Because the other thing that I thought was interesting was that all of them had like an unknown kind of path. You know, there was it could go this way or it could go that way. Whereas Dimitri was the only one where it was like, yep, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And I just remember watching it kind of going, well, why are you so bothered? Like, why are you so passionate about doing this? Because you've got everything else lined up. Like, everyone else wants this for some reason. And it's like, why did he... I know his girlfriend kind of said, oh, yeah, win this and all the rest of it. But he's got his path. And I don't think that his girlfriend saying, I'll win it, would make him push his friend out the way in order to achieve it enough. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. Unless he needs to be there because he's the fall guy.
What it could also be, there could also be just a moment where he gets, because he would do anything to go to MIT. He's made that clear. What if he gets the phone call while he's away, saying you've been accepted? We need you to, we want you to come for early acceptance or whatever, and he's got to go back to America.
No, he's already been accepted because he tells them that when they're training. I think
instead of killing him off, maybe what if he just leaves or whatever. But no, I think killing him off would be awesome.
I think
it would add some weight to it as well.
But even if it's not killing him off, it putting him in a coma or something, like something severe that affects him. Yeah. Okay. No, I like that. I like that theory. Oh, I can't wait till November now. It's too long of a wait. It's too long. I don't understand why they've done it so far away. I really don't. But
to keep this is going to milk it for all it's worth, and plus it's leading up to the next movie because obviously we're going to have this part in November. Then we've got the 2025 part 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then the movie in late 2025.
God, it's such a good series. So good.
The movie's next year as well. So I mean, this is why I still think it's still tied into the Miyagi-Do and everything. Whatever happens in this has to lead into the film, surely.
Oh yeah, there's no two ways in my mind about that.
They're just not telling us much about this movie because they don't want to give spoilers for the program. That's why they've not really said anything. We don't know the name of it. There's no way it's just being called Karate Kid 2025. There's no way. There's going to be a name reveal.
Yeah.
And we know that next week at San Diego Comic-Con, Cobra Kai are there with Netflix. So there could be a trailer for part 2. We could get some announcements. The film could get some drops.
Oh, it's exciting.
The film's next year. It can't be far. Things will start appearing, but if they're tying it all up with the series, then obviously they can't give us too much. So I think San Diego Comic-Con, part 2 trailer.
Still
Honestly.
horrible, that drink.
It,
Yeah.
it will have been enough time from the first drop to then warrant the trailer for part 2.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think San Diego Comic-Con, we're going to see something revealed. Even if it's a trailer. Even if it's a trailer, and that will give us a clearer understanding of what's going on.
I think there would be enough pop if they literally just had Ralph and what's he called, Johnny's character, at San Diego, and just have them do a press junket about the whole Cobra Kai, the Series 6, and they're excited, and then just have one of them casually say, "By the way, Hilary Swank's in the next part. See you in November," and end it. There would be enough pop there for that. The fans would love that, and then we've all been dying to know whether she's going to be in it.
Well,
that would be enough. Out. No trailer, just she even comes out. That would be even better.
Very quickly, I don't know if you've seen. I haven't managed to watch it yet, but there is actually a behind-the-scenes kind of thing on Netflix as well.
Oh, don't even bother. It's 10 seconds long. It's ridiculous.
Oh, is it? What, the inside the dojo?
It's 10 minutes. Yeah, inside the dojo is about 10 minutes long. It's pointless.
That's a shame.
It's just a elongated advert for the program.
Oh, that's a shame. I thought it was going to... It popped up to...
Yeah, it comes up at the end, doesn't it?
Oh, I'll come back to that.
I did that. I went, I'll watch that and see some behind-the-scenes stuff. I got right excited, and it's like just them going, Series 6, it's awesome. We've got all this stuff going on. It's going to be awesome. You're going to love it. It's just like an advert for the series. It's silly.
Oh, man.
Pointless.
What an awesome time to be alive. Like Karate Kid, a film from the 80s that is now... You are now seeing the backstory to the bad guy in that film and where Daniel LaRusso, the little kid from the film, is now. And it's just brilliant.
We didn't even get to talk about The Boys, and that's a story for next week, because that was insane.
The Boys was awesome. That's what I'm saying. I love The Boys. I love The Boys. I love The Boys. I absolutely love that TV show, and people hated on it, but I enjoyed it. We'll talk about it on the next one.
That ending made it so worth it.
Oh, definitely. And it'll tie into Gen V as well. Yeah, I love it. Right, very quickly, for everyone that's watching, either watching live or watching on repeat, we didn't get to all of our comments, so I do apologise. We will do our best to address them later on. We are back a couple of times this week. We are back next weekend on a regular Sunday show for episode 162, and we're going to talk about San Diego Comic-Con, because we would have had the toy drops and the toy announcements and that, so we'll talk about that next Sunday. We will be on Thursday night at some point, a little bit later maybe than scheduled, but it's there. Sorrell's doing it now. He's gone. But we will be back on Thursday to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, there will be spoilers in that particular live stream because I'm seeing it for the midnight showing. Sorrell's seeing it first thing in the morning, and then we're going to jump on. I'm actually out Thursday night. Now I'm attending something else, but I will be back in time for us to do the show, and we'll just break down everything about that film, because let's be honest, it's going to be an amazing one. So next Sunday for the regular show, this Thursday come in for the Deadpool Wolverine talk, and if there are any figure drops tomorrow, like it's been theorized, then we will jump on and do a kind of impromptu Geek Week Plus tomorrow night as well. But keep an eye on the social channels anyway. Obviously, once again, thank you everyone for tuning in, for watching us. We do appreciate it. If you check the description of the videos, wherever it is that you're watching it, it's got all of our social media handles and stuff. You can follow, like, share, subscribe, all of those things. So that's it. What did you have to get? What was so important?
No, my daughter came downstairs. She stood at my door half asleep, and I'm like, let's go send her back upstairs.
I'm going to put you to bed. I always use it, and when my kids get up like that, I always use an opportunity to do Tony Stark and be like, listen, I love you, but if you don't go to sleep, I'm going to sell all your toys. The amount of times I've said that to the kids. I was just saying to everyone, Sunday for San Diego Comic-Con, Thursday for Deadpool Wolverine chat, and then if there are any big figure drops during the week, we'll jump on and do an extra Geek Week Plus.
Yeah.
So, there we go. As always, thank you very much for tuning in, for watching, for commenting, all that kind of stuff. If you are watching it on repeat, Mr. Sorrell, what is it that I need to put in the chat?
#CatchUpCrew.
That's it. Do pop that in the chat. And like I said, check the description of the video. go check out our other social channels. We do appreciate it. And if you're enjoying the show, don't forget to obviously like, share, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. We do appreciate it very much. I think that's about it though for this week. Yeah, Cobra Kai is awesome. If you haven't watched it, we've just told you all about it, but go and watch it.
There's only one way to end this show.
Go on, Em.
Send it to the internet!
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and of course subscribe. Tune in next week for another live show. Until then, keep it geek. www.geekweekinreview.co.uk